And finally, we shift to the war in Europe that's now entering its fourth year. Ukraine received the first batch of Mirage 2000 fighter jets from France, along with a batch of F-16 jets from the Netherlands. The Mirage 2000 jets arrived with Ukrainian pilots on board after several months of training in France. The numbers remain classified, but at least 6 of the French-made jets landed in Ukraine. The aircraft is a fourth-generation multi-role supersonic jet, which was introduced by the French manufacturer Dassault back in the 1970s. The jets can be used for ground strikes, intercepting missiles, and can deploy long-range weapons, including SCALP missiles and Storm Shadow missiles supplied to Kyiv by NATO allies. These jets can also conduct strikes using long-range bombs and have enhanced firing capabilities for both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions, posing a major threat to Russian military assets.
I also want to express my gratitude to France and personally to President Macron for fulfilling our agreements. Our Air Force has now been reinforced with French Mirage fighter jets, marking another step forward in the development of Ukrainian military aviation. This will allow us to carry out more missions. I also thank the Netherlands, where a new batch of F-16 fighter jets has arrived, and this is significant.
And on the heels of this new delivery of fighter jets, Ukraine has also launched a major offensive in the western Russian region of Kursk. Meanwhile, in an emergency meeting with regional governors, Russia's Putin admitted that the situation in Kursk remains very difficult.
And finally, to the most sensitive issue concerning additional compensation for loss of property to these, as you said, 112,000 people who have already received 150,000 rubles. I agree with you that this money is not enough. I will give instructions to the government today or tomorrow, in the coming days, to work out these issues, so that additional decisions will be made.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky praised his troops for the offensive and issued state honors for several army units. President Zelensky said the occupier can and should be beaten in its own territory.
We've significantly expanded our exchange fund with hundreds and hundreds of Russian soldiers, whom we are exchanging to bring Ukrainians back home from captivity. We also have North Korean soldiers in captivity. They are currently receiving medical treatment, as they were seriously wounded in combat.
Now, earlier on Thursday, Ukrainian forces also claimed to have struck an airfield in southern Russia that was being used to launch Iran-made drones. And next week, President Zelensky will attend the Munich Security Conference, where Vice President J.D. Vance and Special Envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, will also be in attendance. Now, during the campaign, President Trump repeatedly promised to end the fighting within 24 hours of taking office, later revising it to 6 months after being elected. For now, all eyes will be on Vice President J.D. Vance to see if he can get President Zelensky to agree to talks with Putin to end the war in Ukraine.